Let me tell you something straight, something real, something most people learn too late. Love is powerful, yes, but it is not more powerful than who you are. The moment you trade your self-respect for affection, attention, or approval, you start disappearing piece by piece. And the world doesn't reward that. The world doesn't honor people who abandon themselves, it uses them. See, when you know your worth, you move differently. You speak differently. You walk into rooms without asking for permission to exist. But when love becomes desperation, when love demands that you shrink, tolerate disrespect, silence your voice, or betray your values, that's not love anymore. That's fear wearing a beautiful mask. Real strength isn't holding on at any cost. Real strength is knowing when to let go, even when it hurts, even when your heart begs you to stay, because what you allow will define you. What you tolerate will teach people how to treat you. And every time you choose self-respect over love, you're not losing something, you're saving yourself. This is about standing tall when it would be easier to bend. This is about choosing dignity over attachment, purpose over approval, and self-respect over love always. Self-respect is the foundation of identity and inner power because it is the quiet agreement you make with yourself about who you are and what you will never compromise. Long before the world decides how to treat you, you decide how you see yourself. That inner decision becomes the standard by which everything else is measured. When you respect yourself, your thoughts align with your values, your actions reflect your principles, and your presence carries a natural authority that does not need to be announced. You are no longer searching for validation because your sense of worth is rooted inside, not borrowed from applause, attention, or approval. Without self-respect, identity becomes unstable. You start shaping yourself around other people's expectations, opinions, and moods. One day you are confident, the next day you are insecure, all depending on how you are treated. That instability drains inner power because your energy is constantly focused outward instead of inward. You begin to negotiate your boundaries, silence your truth, and tolerate things that slowly erode your sense of self. Over time, this creates confusion, resentment, and a quiet anger toward yourself for not standing up when it mattered most. Self-respect creates clarity. It answers the hardest questions before they are even asked. What will I accept? What will I walk away from? What behavior is a privilege to have access to me? These answers build inner power because they remove hesitation. When challenges come, you do not freeze or overthink because your standards are already defined. That confidence is not loud or arrogant. It is calm, grounded, and deeply felt, and people sense it immediately. They may not know why, but they know you are not someone to be played with. Inner power grows when you trust yourself. Self-respect strengthens that trust because every time you honor your values, you prove to yourself that you are reliable. You become someone you can count on. This creates emotional stability, resilience, and the courage to stand alone when necessary, even in moments of loss or rejection. Self-respect keeps you whole. You may feel pain, but you do not lose yourself in it. You do not beg, chase, or compromise your dignity to avoid discomfort. At its core, self-respect is self-leadership. It is the discipline to choose long-term dignity over short-term comfort and inner peace over temporary pleasure. When self-respect becomes non-negotiable, identity becomes solid and inner power becomes unshakable because nothing external has the authority to define your worth or control your sense of self-love. Without self-respect leads to self-betrayal because it slowly teaches you to abandon your own needs, values, and boundaries in exchange for emotional attachment. At first, the compromises feel small and harmless. You stay silent to avoid conflict. You justify behavior that makes you uncomfortable. You tell yourself that love requires sacrifice, patience, and understanding. But over time, those sacrifices stop being acts of care and start becoming acts of self-erasure. You are no longer choosing love freely. You are choosing it out of fear of loss, loneliness, or rejection. When self-respect is missing, love becomes unbalanced. One person gives more, tolerates more, and excuses more, while the other takes without accountability. The more you accept disrespect, the more normal it becomes, not just to the other person, but to you. You begin lowering your standards and convincing yourself that this version of love is all you deserve. That is where self-betrayal begins, not in one dramatic moment, but in quiet decisions made daily against your own well-being. The most damaging part is how this dynamic changes your relationship with yourself. Each time you ignore your inner voice, it grows weaker. Each time you stay where you feel unseen, unheard, or unvalued, you teach yourself that your feelings do not matter. This creates internal conflict because your mind is aware that something is wrong, but your emotions keep you attached. That tension drains your energy, your confidence, and your sense of identity. Love is meant to expand you, not shrink you. It should challenge you to grow, not pressure you to tolerate pain for the sake of connection. When love demands that you lose your dignity, silence your truth, or accept repeated disrespect, it stops being love and becomes a negotiation against your own self-worth. Choosing self-respect in those moments is not selfish, it is necessary. Without it, love turns into a slow abandonment of yourself, where you remain present in the relationship but absent from your own life. Walking away can be an act of strength, not loss, because it requires the courage to choose long-term dignity over short-term comfort. Most people stay not because they are happy, but because leaving forces them to face uncertainty, loneliness, and the pain of change. Staying feels familiar, even when it is damaging. Walking away, on the other hand, demands clarity, self-trust, and the willingness to stand alone. It is easier to endure what you know than to risk what you do not, which is why choosing to leave often reflects inner power rather than weakness. When you walk away from a situation that disrespects you, you are not quitting, you are setting a boundary with action. Words can be ignored, promises can be broken, but distance speaks clearly. It says that your time, energy, and presence are valuable and not available at any price. This kind of decision often feels heavy because it goes against emotional attachment, memories, and hope, but strength is rarely comfortable. It usually shows up in moments where doing the right thing hurts more than doing the easy thing. Loss is often misunderstood. People assume that walking away means losing love, connection, or opportunity, but what is usually being lost is an illusion. You are not losing what truly values you. You are letting go of what cannot meet you with respect. In return, you gain clarity, self-respect, and peace. You gain the freedom to stop explaining yourself, defending your boundaries, or justifying your worth. Strength is not about endurance at all costs. It is about discernment. It is knowing when effort turns into self-neglect and when patience becomes self-sacrifice. Walking away is the moment you stop negotiating with your dignity and start honoring your worth. Even if it means closing a door you once hoped would stay open, your self-worth determines how the world treats you, because people often respond not to what you say, but to what you consistently allow. Long before anyone listens to your words, they observe your standards, your boundaries, and your reactions. When you carry a strong sense of self-worth, it reflects in the way you speak, the way you make decisions, and the way you handle disrespect. There is a quiet confidence that comes from knowing who you are and what you deserve, and that confidence sets the tone for every interaction. When self-worth is low, people sense uncertainty even if it is never spoken aloud. This does not mean others are intentionally cruel, but many will naturally test limits, push boundaries, or take advantage when they see hesitation. If disrespect is tolerated once, it often returns stronger the next time. Over time, patterns form. You may notice that people interrupt you more, dismiss your needs, or expect you to accept less than you give. These patterns are not random. They are shaped by the standard you communicate through your actions. Self-worth is not arrogance or superiority. It is self-clarity. It is the understanding that your time, energy, and presence have value. When you operate from that place, you no longer chase approval or over-explain yourself. You become selective with what you allow into your life. This selectiveness teaches others how to engage with you. Respect grows where boundaries are clear, and boundaries grow where self-worth is solid. The world is a mirror in many ways. It reflects back the relationship you have with yourself. When you honor your own worth, you naturally attract healthier dynamics. And when unhealthy behavior appears, you address it early or remove yourself without guilt. Over time, this creates a life where respect is not demanded but expected, because you have already shown through your choices that anything less is not acceptable. Choosing yourself is the beginning of true fulfillment, because it shifts your life from survival to alignment. For many people, life becomes a constant effort to please, to fit in, or to avoid disappointment, and in that process, they slowly disconnect from who they really are. When you choose yourself, you stop outsourcing your happiness and start taking responsibility for your own well-being. This decision brings clarity, because your choices are no longer driven by fear or the need for approval, but by what genuinely supports your growth. Choosing yourself does not mean rejecting love, connection, or responsibility. It means refusing to abandon your values in order to keep them. It means recognizing that you cannot build a meaningful life by betraying your own needs and expectations. Fulfillment comes when your actions match your inner truth, and that alignment creates peace that external validation can never provide. You begin to experience a deeper sense of satisfaction, even in moments of challenge, because you know you are living honestly. When you choose yourself, you gain freedom from emotional dependency. You stop clinging to situations that drain you and start investing in what strengthens you. This creates confidence, resilience, and a sense of direction that cannot be shaken by rejection or loss. Fulfillment grows when you become your own priority, not out of ego, but out of self-respect. Because a life built on honoring yourself is one that feels whole, grounded, and deeply meaningful. At the end of the day, choosing self-respect over love is not a rejection of connection. It is a declaration of your worth. It is the understanding that no relationship, no matter how intense, is worth sacrificing your dignity, values, or peace of mind. When you honor yourself first, you gain clarity, strength, and a sense of freedom that commands respect from the world around you, walking away from what diminishes you. Refusing to tolerate disrespect, trusting your own worth are not acts of weakness. They are acts of courage, power, and self-love. True fulfillment does not come from being loved by others, but from loving yourself enough to never settle for less than you deserve. Self-respect is the silent force that shapes your identity, protects your heart, and ensures that every choice you make aligns with the life you are meant to live. Always choose yourself, always stand tall, and let your dignity guide the way.